Hello everyone, it's Romeo Hertz here today to give you the next chapter of Naruto 629 review. Um, so it's been a week, and admittedly I expected a lot more to happen in this chapter because nothing really happened. I mean, apart from that one scene at the end of this chapter, nothing held. Everything that started last week, the Jubi's Tempe attack. Um, had no real meaning, no purpose. It was very flashy. I mean, the Juby so far on its own has been all bark, no bite. I mean, like Madara. I mean, he's been all bark, kind of no bite. He hasn't really, apart from fodder, he hasn't really killed anyone. You know, he's just he and the Juby to me are just characters Kishimoto can use to um, pump out these ideas, these jutsus. Um, and I gotta admit, even though he's very, very powerful, he's just not delivering. I mean, if again, it's all bark, no bite. It's like he's like that kind of guy who wants to hit you, but instead he kicks a chair or something like that. It's just so what happens is that the Tempe attack really powerful. I mean, the entire environment. I mean, you look at it from an overhead view. And it was only my second time reading it through that I realised that it was really the huge that you practically were looking at it from a map perspective, and that could have taken out a bunch of villages, maybe an island. It was such a huge technique, and somehow, I know the QB chakra is powerful, but there should be limits. I mean, this thing's calling down not chakra infused lightning, actual lightning. I mean, if you saw what Kirin did to the headquarters of the hideout, the Uchiha hideout, the only way Itachi even survived that was with the Susanoo, full Susanoo armor. Yeah, these one-tailed um, one-tailed, are they even that? One-tailed QB cloaks managed to survive multiple hits of something of that magnitude. Um, I find that insane, to be honest. I don't get it. But as far as I'm concerned, this chapter pretty much solidifies the fact that the Allied forces are a hindrance to Naruto. As I said before, that when Sage Naruto was going against Pain, the six paths of Pain, I said he said that Shikamaru said the best Shukaku said the best form of teamwork is not getting in his way, and to me they are really getting in his way. They're just really fodder. They really can't. They just can't match. Doesn't matter what they do. Um, and I would have preferred if it was just the QB and the Hachibi, or Killer B and Naruto. Um, and we get this kind of page of Naruto with all the tailed beasts inside of him. I don't know where he got the first tails, Shukaku's. Shukaku's. I don't know where he got the first tails chakra, because when he was kind of speaking with all the tail beasts, I don't think the first tail was there. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. So where did that come from? I don't remember either time him getting that. So, and we didn't even see it in this fight, mainly because there wasn't a Jinchuriki for it. So it's really confusing where that came from. And then underneath that, you've got the panel of probably the Sage of Six Paths with the Rinnegan, and it's pretty much saying, oh, Naruto's the next Sage, which I gotta admit, I kind of hate. I really do hate. I wish he was the Naruto from part 1, where he really is a nobody, and he's putting in all this effort. He's not destined. It's not you know, this isn't all preordained. He's fighting his destiny, kind of thing. Um, and I just don't like it because it's like, well, he can't lose. Like, there's no doubt now because it's like, well, the Sage did it before, and now Naruto's the new Sage, so he's gonna probably do it again, and it's just like history repeating itself. And I just wish it had a better dynamic. And I'm also really concerned for the Sasuke Naruto fight, if that's gonna happen. That might not even happen anymore, so we'll have to wait and see. The GB starts getting powered up. It's starting to get really muscular, you know, making a hand seal. I don't know what it's doing. Maybe it's trying to transform. Its horns are growing more, so maybe it's starting to transform again. So it was implied, it was stated that there would be another transformation. So this is probably him getting to that point. Especially considering he doesn't have, he's blown a lot of chakra. I mean, he's still got to make a few transformations, but he, again, what's the point? Because he's not doing anything with this current transformation. The only time he did something was he killed Neji. Oh, and he took out the HQ, I guess. Alright, I'll take that back a bit, but I wish he'd do some more to the actual forces right in front of him, when he should have a long time ago. So the other shinobi try and protect Naruto because he's out of chakra for about 5 to 10 minutes, if that, and then he'll have chakra all over again. So it's not really that much of a problem. But I really don't. I look at them and I'm like, Madara will tear you apart. I mean, I don't understand how. Obviously, they haven't seen the fight of the 5 Kages versus Madara, but Madara would tear them up. I don't see what they could hope to do, what they could hope to achieve, apart from withdraw. But where would they withdraw to? No, they can't even withdraw, because if they do, the Jubi will then move on to the next stage and start the Infinite Tsukiyomi. Oh wait, actually, now that I think about it, Madara doesn't have Obito. So he's probably gonna Obito's probably gonna have to win the fight for this story to progress. Moving on to actually Obito and Kakashi, they wind up in their pocket dimension, and basically Kakashi tries to go for Obito but stops because he's getting all emotional. He's like, you know, you're my friend. I still care about you. You may not care about yourself, but I do. And he tries to convince Obito to come to the good side. And Obito pretty much just says no. You know, Kakashi says it's like, you know, you're projecting your younger self onto Naruto, and you hope your younger self, the self you were, can reject what you've become to prove this path is wrong. But you know, Obito's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You know, it's not. I haven't done this purely for Rin, which I'll get onto. I don't think that's actually accurate. I think he actually has done it purely for Rin and purely for Kakashi. But he pretty much shuts Kakashi down. He says, you know, it doesn't matter what you say. I'm on this path now. I believe in it. Every other alternative just doesn't work. And I'm going to do it my way. And he uses, this is actually, I thought this was pretty cool, because I wasn't sure who was the better Sharingan user. And it seems Obito, at the very least, managed to use his Sharingan to paralyze or negate Kakashi's movements. So he was stuck with his Raikiri outstretched, and what happened was, and I thought at first, for a second, I thought Obito was trying to kill himself, or to make a point. You get some villains who actually do that, and the Raikiri goes through his chest, and he forces himself to stand up and go right through the Raikiri, and he's not using his his space-time migration ability is Kamui. He's just letting it pass right through him, into his flesh, right through his heart, right through his organs, his lungs, and he then states that Rin was the Three Tails Jinchuriki. I have a huge problem with this because the 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 Three Tails Jinchuriki, like, so basically what happened is the Mist Village captured Rin and made her into the Three Tails Jinchuriki, but my only question is why? I mean, why? I mean, why? It's why go out of your way to find a Konoha ninja? I mean, how can she even have the chakra and the compatibility to be the Three Tails Jinchuriki? Nah, I mean, she needs. What I find confusing about it all is, I just don't understand why they wouldn't use someone in their own village. Are you telling me they had no one? And if so, how could they find out that Rin was compatible? I mean, you'd think that if you have the Three Tails and it doesn't have a Jinchuriki, you're not going to give it to someone else. You're going to use it for yourself. You're going to use it for your own village because they put it in her, and obviously they know. Maybe the fact is she's not compatible, so they know that eventually it's going to break out and go completely crazy, and then hopefully during that interval they can attack the hidden leaf. I'm guessing that's their plan, but it's a very huge gamble, a very huge risk. And why? I mean, I didn't even know Konoha had beef with the Mist Village. I thought their main enemy was the yeah, during the war, wasn't it? The why the Mist Village? What's going on there? And also the I'm just really confused about the time thing. Like, when did Yagura die then? Because this happened all before Naruto was even born. But Yagura became the Jinchuriki, then died, and then the Three Tails disappeared. But I was under the assumption that Yagura died recently. And that, yeah, he must have died recently. Oh man, this is really confusing. I mean, the thing is, there's some kind of time stuff, because Yagura, from what I can tell, was the reason that the Bloody Mist became the Bloody Mist, because of Madara's or Obito's, I don't fuck it, because of their control over Yagura, and turned him essentially into this really bloodthirsty tyrant. And he was the Jinchuriki. So it's really confusing. At what point did he become the Kage? What point did he become the Jinchuriki? I need a lot of information, because this is really confusing now in terms of, because if she dies, so that the Three Tails would then be revived. So if it's going to be revived, but how long does it take for it to be revived? I assumed it would take years, maybe decades, for it to be revived again. Maybe that's... I really don't know. I really don't know. Maybe that's what happened now. Within the year of this series, when the Akatsuki capture it, that's probably when it's been revived. Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of... Still, the thing of Yagura, I'm pretty sure... I don't know, because then at what point is a fifth Mizukage chosen? No, she would have to have must have become the fifth Mizukage after before Naruto was born, but that would make sense with what happened to Haku and stuff like that. So there's just so many conflicting things with Rin being the third. I mean, it's a good idea. It is a good idea, but I just don't think all the timelines fit in. There's a lot of things that clash. So it's a good idea. It makes sense to an extent. It gives motive, but the feasibility of it all, I think it's a bit. It's not too unreasonable to believe, but it's barely reasonable to tolerate, but not exactly to accept. And because of her role in this, she planned to kill herself, so that she wouldn't become an enemy to the village. And Kakashi was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I made a promise." So when he goes to kill another Mist Ninja, she jumps in the way of his Raikiri and gets herself killed, and that's how everything happens. Now this is where it really kind of gets really, I think, bad for Obito as a character. First of all, he says at the start of this kind of dialogue thing that he isn't doing this solely for Rin and Kakashi, but later on he kind of pretty much confirms that he is, because he pretty much says, I hate this so much. He pretty much says that because you didn't keep your promise, you're an imposter. You're not real. Because you can... Oh my god. You're not real because you didn't fulfill your promise. You're an imposter. He says that Rin isn't real. Was never real because she died. So she's an imposter. And as such, essentially what he's saying is, because this world doesn't revolve around me, because this world does not cater to my desires, my dreams, because this world is unfair, because this world is cruel, I'm going to end it and make a fake world where everything is what we want it to be. Now, you know, I'm going to be honest. I always thought that Kishimoto would later on explain other reasons for why Obito has this mentality apart from you killed Rin. And it's still you killed Rin, just we know why Kakashi killed Rin. My problem is that I always tried to look at it like, I know everyone said that Obito was a child and he hadn't matured, and I said, well, you know, when he was Toby, he was mature. The things he did as Toby, the actions he's made, still, you know, contribute to making him a cool character. It's just Kishimoto really hurt his character with chapter 599 and chapter 600 and 601. But you know, I was pretty sure that he was the same guy, the same Obito Uchiha, the same Tobito, that I had kind of grown to love, but now we just understood his motives, which were nowhere near as the barely. I'm not even sure you could say that they were tolerable reasons for him doing what he did. But now it's like he really is a child, because he's saying because he couldn't get what he wanted. I mean, from what I can tell, he went straight after Rin died. He went straight to Madara. He didn't even try to resolve any of his problems. He never tried to move on, and that's my problem. He never tried. I always thought that if Kishimoto had done like some scene where, I don't know, he went to a different village, made some friends there, and they died, um, it would make sense. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he has less reasons than Kakashi. Nagato would have better motives to be um, Toby and do what Obito's doing than Obito himself. I've said it before and I say it again. The best person to have been Toby, not in terms of motive, but in terms of as a character, the best character to have played Toby would have been Kabuto, because Kabuto was actually no one. You didn't know who he was, so it would make sense for him to make a dream world to try and validate his experience, because he couldn't validate his experience with the world he was in right now because he just didn't know who he was. And I just really find it, I really thought Kishimoto could not have done a worse job to Obito than what he did in chapter 600. But he did it. I mean, he did it. I still can't believe he managed to pull it off. Obito pretty much just can't accept the fact that his friends couldn't do everything they promised. I mean, it's real life. I mean, he can't accept reality. He can't accept reality. I mean, to put it in another context, imagine if you're walking, you've got a friend, and he goes and he says, "Protect my sister," right? And you're at work or something, or you're in the house, and you're like in your bedroom, and his sister falls down the stairs, breaks her neck, dies. Then he starts World War III because you can protect, and then he starts calling his sister an imposter because she died, because she fell down the stairs. He calls his friend an imposter because he couldn't keep his promise. But it's like, and Obito does say that, it's not your fault. It's kind of not your fault. I understand why you did what you did. It's just the world, the ninja system that created all this, is the reason why this all happened. And I think he's actually saying, you know what? I think I'm not sure if he's saying he forgives Kakashi. I think he's saying that he just doesn't blame Kakashi because he recognizes that Kakashi really couldn't have done anything different. That was kind of his duty as a shinobi, and Rin did her duty as a shinobi. And I think that's why he's doing what he's doing, but I wish he could have phrased it differently, and it's just, my problem isn't the fact so much that he has these motives. It's just that he has bonds, he has connections that could have helped him with this, and he goes straight to Madara instead of going to Minato, going to his friends, going to his clan members. We don't know if he's an orphan. He could have mother, brother, father, sister. He's got to have cousins. He has an entire clan. And he just meets Madara and decides to go with Madara. He just never tried. He never tried to move past it. And that's the biggest problem anyone will have with Obito, is that he didn't try to move past it. Nagato moved, not only did he try to move past it, he moved past it, and he was younger than Obito. And then after he moved past it, he still failed. His friend still got killed, and it's like, I just can't win. But Obito never tried. And that's why he's such a weak character, because he didn't try. He had all these resources, all these emotional connections that could have helped him get past this situation, and he never did anything about it. He never used them. He abandoned them, and later on he killed them. and all because Rin died, and all because he just never tried to try and look at different values, look at different alternatives that could have gave him, may not have given him back what he had lost, but may have compensated or made up for what he had lost. And if he had done that a lot, I mean, almost every event in the Naruto series would not have happened. I mean, he wiped out his entire clan. Naruto killed his master. Oh my! The reasons themselves aren't bad. It's just that he hasn't done enough for him to fall under, for him to just shun any other possibilities. He hasn't tried hard enough for me to find it believable, acceptable for him to do the things he does. Even understandable. It's pretty hard to understand. Yeah. It's really hard to understand when he hasn't tried enough. And I still don't understand what Rin's value is to him. I wish I did. So that's me. I mean, this was a long chapter review. I'll probably cut it down. Yeah, I'm sorry I was more subdued today. I mean, this chapter just didn't give me a lot to work with, but it did give me a lot to think about. Hopefully the chapter will get more dialogue and just character heavy. Though I think with Obito and Kakashi, I think at this point we know what they're all about. I just want them to fight, kill one another, and be done with it, because I just want to move on. So that was Romeo Hurts with this week's chapter of Naruto 629 review. Catch you guys later.